Welcome to Season 2, Episode 21 of the Bulls REKAP podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can read my stuff in the Chicago Sun-Times. You can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at @JCowleyHoops. And before I bring in my guys, real quick, the beat is a brotherhood. I love our beat. We got a kid on the beat this year. He's been on here before, Joel Lorenzi from The Athletic. He and I have had a lot of hang time on this trip. Went to shoot around today, stopped at Tom Brady's card shop just to see what that's like. It's attached to the arena. And then he's like, all right, well, I'm going to work out at this time. I'm like, all right, I'll be down there working out. All right. You learn a lot about somebody when they're either playing pickup basketball with them or when you're working out with them. So I'm on the elliptical. I'm beating up the elliptical. The elliptical's got its Apple Watch on me, tracking its steps. That's how bad I'm beating it up. And all of a sudden, he's lifting weights, and he's on a fitness journey. I appreciate that. All of a sudden, I turn around. He's got his shirt off. I'm like, whoa. Hey, D'Angelo. Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Hey, Maverick, this isn't the Top Gun volleyball beach. So now I'm like, should I have not said that? Is that a fashion faux pas working out? I know one guy that would, like, Cap may take his shirt off. I don't think he would. I think it's generational. So listen, I know McGuff would not take his shirt off working out with the bro. It just wouldn't happen. So I'm going to bring my two guys in, Crime Dog, the Cat Man. What say you? Am I wrong for saying, hey?
No, I would have scolded him. I'm like, bro, whoa, put the shirt back on.
There's times
it's not Venice Beach here.
Yeah, there are times for the shirt to come off, but in the gym with like your
at the courtyard workout.
No. That is like an absolute. You lose your points and everything. Like you are immediately banned. Your key card stops working.
That's bad.
Yeah. And I get it because he has a trainer and the trainer wants to see progress. You show that to the trainer.
Do you need to take your shirt off every time you? I know Cap's a trainer guy. Do you take
I train with Zach
do you
3
take
to
your
4
shirt
times a week.
I train every day. Me and my guy. I don't have a guy, but me.
Does he say take your shirt off so I can see your progress? Okay.
No.
All right. I felt like an old balls man just like scolding this my stepson in the gym. Whoa. Hey, this ain't a freaking Keith Sweat video from 1989.
Does he have ink?
Nobody.
I don't think he. I didn't look that long. I don't know if he's got ink. I don't think so,
buddy.
No, I don't care if you have ink or not. Keep your shit on.
By the way, you look like you should be an '80s villain in a Miami Vice episode. By the way,
he dropped a little white powdered bag when he walked in, and I was like, "No, I'm
kidding." That's not even.
All right, we are post trade deadline. I'm here in lovely Boston, obviously. Post trade deadline deal. I'm going to say this. So a lot of people got mad at me on Twitter because I was very critical of what the Bulls did. And it wasn't that they finally picked a lane because I've been screaming for that for a year and a half. It's the timing of when they did it. And I will say that each trade got progressively worse. The first three, I was like, golf clap.
I was with you. I called you from Mexico. I'm like,
dude, that call was hilarious. Freaking poolside. That's why I said it reminded me of Miami Vice.
He FaceTimed you, right?
Yeah, he FaceTimed me. Drink in hand while I'm freaking drinking some freaking Marriott bottled water.
There is an equivalent to that FaceTime call and having your shirt off in the gym. I will say that, but there is a small equivalent.
I get what you're saying because it's like it goes under the blanket of taunting.
Yes.
100%.
But one felt like I get it. My guy Pops is out at Freedom. I'm still in Shawshank. You celebrated Pops. The other one was, whoa, bro, we're still in Shawshank together. Put that shirt on. Put that shirt. So I get it. There is a Shawshank umbrella, but it's a little different. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the first 3 trades, I'm like, okay, all right, I got it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. What the hell is going on here?
And it's not even that I'm glad they picked a lane, but the problem I have with it, and I'm not even so much with the upset with the return as much as a week earlier, you told us there was like 3 or 4 beat writers that met with Arturis in Indianapolis, impromptu, off the record, just to kind of his state of the address before the trade deadline, which I appreciated him doing that. He didn't have to do that. So, kudos to him. Kudos to Beth Essler from the Bulls for arranging that. But he told us in there, I didn't say anything for a while. I just kind of listened to him. He after he kicked me a second time, playfully, because I wasn't asking him anything. I was waiting for him to give his whole spiel. But he, again, which he said on the record, told us that second-round picks are nothing but, and as I phrase it, Bitcoin. He said they're currency in the eye of the beholder. So he poo-pooed second-round picks like he had done for years. And then also he talked about that he's never going to be a non-competitive team. And then a couple of days later, he starts these trades where obviously you're on the track to be non-competitive. And secondly, you collected as many second-round picks as I can remember a team collecting in a 3-day span. So is he just lying to us? Did something change his mind? That was the confusing part of me is, be honest, be open with us if you're going to have a relationship with us.
I don't know what Guff's going to say. I don't know what you're going to say. I cannot believe that at some point Jerry, Michael said, okay, that's it. This team is not any good. We need to blow it up.
Yeah.
It feels, not to cross-pollinate with the Reinsdorf teams, but sat on your hands a little too long, made your decision a little too long, and you traded Luis Robert for a couple flyers. That's kind of what, like, I'm watching Io torch go coast to coast for the T-Wolves, and I just keep thinking that might be the best acquisition for a team, like away from the big names at the deadline. Like Io, I already read an article about how Io was the trade no one saw coming in Minnesota that everyone needed. Yeah. And to the Kobe trade, like we did both podcasts, Joe. It was like the tale of two different feels. The first one was like, hello, like to your golf clap analogy. I think we actually did a golf clap on that podcast.
Yeah.
It was like, here we go. And the second one was like, what the hell? And then there's the fan reaction of, why didn't they get any first round picks? Why do you think? Because every GM in basketball values them and knows them and doesn't value the roster of the Chicago Bulls because it had no value at the time of the deadline.
Why not re-sign Io?
They could. I mean, there's rumors that Io may have already said they get first crack. The problem is Minnesota has bird rights, so a lot more money. But I will say this. If you're going to trade him to a team, you trade him to a team that's crushed against the apron because they can't afford him. And Minnesota is crushed against the apron. So, the one thing I'm going to, this will be the last look. I'm already out on Arturas. Basically, he's got one last chance with me this summer. Can he play bully ball with this financial flexibility he has? And by bully ball, I mean you let Colin Sexton walk. You probably let Anthony Simons walk. Because there are only about 8 or 9 teams that are going to have money to spend.
My time it was 8.
Yeah, you tell Jaden Ivey, this is the price. If you get anything on the market, we'll see if we're going to match it, but this is our price, and it will be team friendly. Rob Dillingham, you still have control over him, so you're fine there. And then you go and see what the price is on Io. That's what I would do. And then you play bully ball with the restricted free agent guys. Duran from Detroit, you're not going to get, but Tari Eason, Houston's up against it. They can only
get Duran. There's no way
they're not going to let him walk. No, they're going to make room. Whether by hook or crook, they will make more because you're talking about a game-changing big man who is only getting better and better. Yeah. So
and if they make a deep run, which they're capable of doing, obviously, they're not going to let him
go. They'll find money for him some way somehow. But you at least put the bid in there and make them come. But this is it, though. This offseason is it because to the point, and I don't like living in the land of if, but this is a big if that you let get by. Your number one job as an NBA executive, because the draft is so important, is recognizing when a draft is not very good. The Modest draft was not very good, and that's great that they got Modest at 11, but that's evidence of how bad that draft was because you didn't know what you were getting 1 through 15. It was all the same guy. So kudos to him for drafting Modest. That's great. But as an executive, you got Modest, which you saw as a steal. You should have acted that summer to try collecting as many assets as you could get, even if they weren't first-round assets, because everyone knew what the 25 draft class was. They're not stupid. But that's when you collect your seconds and then try cashing them in for the 26 draft class and moving up there. So he missed the boat on that. He poo-pooed this idea of we have to be competitive integrity, and now that's completely out the window because there is no competitiveness of this team. When you bring in a front court like that, you're basically saying turnstile late game.
The whole league is lacking integrity.
Literally verbatim was going to say.
When I see the Utah Jazz in the third quarter, they're hanging in there.
Yep.
And then they don't play any of their starters in the fourth quarter.
Markkanen and Jackson had like 50 or 60 combined points?
That's a joke that they don't let them play the fourth quarter. And then I was looking, no secret, on days that end in a Y, I like to gamble. And so I'm looking at the RotoWire rundown today. Sacramento's lost 13 in a row, and they got like 9 guys who aren't going to play. I'm like, no Zach LaVine, no this guy, no that guy. I'm like, the league has zero integrity.
Here's what I'll say to that. Utah got ripped for that. I applaud Utah. You want to put a loophole in? This is your system? I'm going to bend the rules of your system. Fix your system. I'm all for what Utah's doing because
it's within the rules.
It's within the rules.
Then they should fix it.
Right. They have to fix it. And the best way to fix it is at the end of the year, guess what? You wanted a tank. Now you go out and you got to win the single elimination tournament. That's it. And how you finish is the order.
And that's what's so frustrating about competitive integrity with the current front office of the Chicago Bulls. Because you know what? Nobody else is playing the same competitive integrity. Not one person. Oh, we owe it to the fans. No, you don't. Because there's not another organization in the entire league that's saying the same thing and playing by the same rules as you are. And they know it, and they've been running circles around you for years, and you're stuck in the middle looking at the murkiest water that doesn't look clean on the other side for years now.
And what Chicago team in the last decade has not tanked and has not been applauded for it? All of them have
twice.
All of them have. Say what you want to say about Chicago, big market. And by the way, the Cubs tank was probably goes down as the picture perfect model of how to write the handbook on how to tank. I don't think people realize what Theo did. Because I remember I was a columnist back then. I was at his opening press conference. I think you were there, Cap.
Yep.
And he even said, and people snickered, he's going to have handbooks made, handed out to the minor league guys about what it's like to be a Cub, what he expects for be a Cub. And you're like, okay, that's kind of childish. But then you think back on it, it's like that dude, his attention to detail and his attention to this is what we're going to do, unprecedented what he did to then cash in and get a championship out of that. In a cursed organization, by the way.
Funny story that I think Guff knows this, you probably don't. So Theo says they're going to write a manual called The Cubs Way.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I go out to Arizona. He said, I don't even realize that it's Valentine's Day, which is this Saturday. So it's just about this time.
Thanks for the reminder.
He said, make sure you take care of Candace.
Yeah.
And so he said, I go to dinner with Jason McLeod, who was their head of scouting at the time.
Right.
He said, we go to dinner and we see this table is outside and the weather's beautiful. Do you mind if we have that table outside and there's nobody around them? He said, and we're going over the pitching and how we're going to teach pitching and the infrastructure. He goes, and the lady comes out and sets, I'm trying to remember if it was a centerpiece, whatever. Happy Valentine's Day. So good to see the two of you able to celebrate together. She thought they were a couple.
Nice.
Like, oh,
wasn't that at the Mission?
It might have been.
I love
at the Mission, which is a great spot. Yeah,
that's outstanding.
He said, we're there working. We're workmates. She thought they were in a relationship.
Joe, I go back to last week after Arturo spoke, and you were there for that. Where was that? In Milwaukee?
Toronto.
You were in Milwaukee the day before during the other trades. Anyway, he said, we're going to start watching college basketball games.
Do you really want to admit that?
He said that.
I know.
So again, I know they've been off scouting and stuff, but you don't, even if that's a misspeak, clean it up. Don't
clean it up.
And then
we're going to continue beating down the door of watching these college basketball games.
What do you say when he says, I need some time now with this new plan? I'm like, time? You know what you got time for? Get a box and get the F out.
I
told bought that team. I'd fire him in 8 seconds.
Oh, yeah. I don't like if he gets fired from this job, he won't be rehired. It's like a Kenny Williams type thing.
It's like all the
there's only one person. Yeah, there's only one person that would hire you, and that's the guy that's hired you right now. And again, to at least there was not one person that told Michael Reinsdorf or Jerry Reinsdorf that that's a bad hire. So you can't fault them. But once you saw him get in the building, and I think probably 2 years ago when you saw that he wasn't understanding how this league works with the product on the court, the temperature should have been turned up 2 years ago.
But they were down the road, I know for a fact, with Sam Presti. And then the
money he wanted, and Joe, when you hired him,
you want the best.
Here's what I'll say. Like, no one said it was a bad hire. Okay, that's great. Right. That's great. But then your expectations weren't high either, because you allowed him to come in and you said fill seats, hang in the playoff mix. You never said championship or bust here. As an ownership group, they never said our expectations are to be at worst in the running for division championships, not the play-in tournament. And because he wasn't given those set of boundaries or rules or expectations, part of it to me is not all his fault. I would also put a box in front of him and say, thank you for your time here. But if you're taking a job, which as a well-respected executive around the league, and then you come to said job and they're like, well, here's the keys to everything. See you later, or do a good job. And there's never like a follow-up or a, hey, how are we doing here? What do you expect?
Well, here's I don't think this is a dirty little secret, because I think enough people understand this and know this, but just for people to fully digest and understand the mindset, the White Sox for Jerry is his passion.
Yep.
And as much as it hasn't shown, that championship is the most important thing. He would trade any Bulls championship for that. And I think he's probably even said that, whether it was off the record or on the record. The Bulls is a business for Jerry, and a very successful business. So when you can look at it like that, and that's probably why it's more frustrating for White Sox fans, Bulls fans, you're always going to be handled like a business. Come take pictures with our statue in the atrium. Come to our gift shop. We're still selling those jerseys.
Go to the Michael statue, yeah.
And then now you can come and take a picture of the Derrick Rose retired jersey, because he was important to Chicago. And then you could come down for the product, because we have cheerleaders, we have boom booms and fireworks. Yeah. We have so much to distract you from the shit product that is going on the court. And your kids are going to love it, and you're going to go home and go, that was a fun time. They lost by 10, but that was a good time. Let's go back and do that again.
Yeah, but we all have kids.
That's very well said.
And you nailed it. And we all have kids, and we're further and further and further away from Michael Jordan. And when you show the YouTube highlights and they're looking at you kind of like, man, this is old. And that's why they talk about LeBron. We're multi-generations away from Michael Jordan, and they're still living off of the Michael Jordan era that they couldn't wait to end.
Why do you think they strung this Derrick Rose stuff out so long?
I know. It's the best.
This was Derrick Rose night, Derrick Rose bobblehead, 4 of them, Derrick Rose retirement night. This has been over a year of stringing this out, and it's not Derrick Rose. It's not Derrick's fault.
They got no more cookies.
He mentioned LeBron. Where would you rank LeBron all time?
We're going sideways.
I just got to know.
So you're going to disagree with me. So here's my whole thing. It's because it comes down to Michael versus LeBron, which I always thought was the dumbest argument.
Agreed.
Because it should come down to LeBron and Magic, because Magic and LeBron are about lifting up teammates around them and making them better. And LeBron's whole life has been keeping these high school guys that he loved, that were his brothers, and lifting them up, making them agents, making them and his teammates, whether it's Boobie Gibson, whatever it's always been about making everyone around me better. So what I've always said, when you want to make the final argument, if you're asking me which NBA player I want to take the last shot in the game, there is no argument whatsoever. It is Michael Air Jordan, hands down. It is. I don't want LeBron anywhere near the ball for the last shot. If you ask me which guy I want to start a franchise with, it is LeBron James out of Akron, Ohio, hands down, because I know he is going to make the most out of the least. So it's two different arguments. Which one's better? LeBron James is more skilled all around than Michael Jordan was. But if you're asking me, who do I want in Game 7? Who do I want for a last shot? It's always going to be Michael. So I can't even compare the two.
Disagree. We're not going to hijack the podcast.
Well, we already hijacked it.
I don't even have LeBron on the top 5 players of all time.
Well, because here's why. Because it's almost like Trump derangement syndrome, but it's Michael derangement syndrome. You guys are so stuck in what he did. There's high school kids doing those one hand switch to your left hand now. It's just he did it first. So you guys have that etched in your mind that he was doing these unbelievable things, and he became this Peter Pan for you guys that brings you back to that time. I get it. But he wasn't a good teammate because I'm close friends with guys that used to play with him. Your Will Purdue's and your Bill Winningtons. He didn't make you a better player. He scared you.
Just led you to 6 championships.
100%. But see, the knock that LeBron gets is the same thing that, and I think I did this in a rant. It's the same thing. Why Tibbs gets attacked, why LeBron gets attacked, why Mike Tomlin gets attacked. They are so good at what they do that they overachieve year after year. For LeBron to get that first Cavs team to a championship with Boobie Gibson, Michael could have never done that because he wouldn't have had the patience, and he would have been smacking dudes around, and they would have quit on him because he would have just beaten their ego to death. That's what Michael was. And it's a different time where generationally guys can take that. Back then, they can't take it now. They're in their feelings. They got to go see the team psychiatrist. You hurt me, blah, blah, blah. But Michael couldn't lift you like LeBron, and he didn't care to. You were along for the ride with him.
That's
LeBron
fair. You were along for the ride. But I was watching Shaq the other day, and they said, Shaq, if you had to put an all-time team together, is LeBron on it? He said, absolutely not.
100%. I get that. But if I had to put an all-time team on it, Shaq's not on mine. So
who's your center?
Oh, Dream. I think Dream was the most vicious, diabolical center. He was a point center before point centers were even a thing.
Barkley said the other day, I was watching him on an interview, and he said, we went to play 18 holes of golf in the Olympics in Barcelona. Chuck Daly, David Robinson, Barkley, and Michael. He goes, we get done. Michael goes, I'm going to play another 18. And Chuck said, we have a game tonight. He goes, I'll be fine. He said, we get to the game, and Chuck says, Michael, you've got the 2 guard. He goes, nope, I'm taking the point guard. He goes, no, you got the 2 guard. He's like, I said I've got the point guard. That little kid said some shit about me in the paper, and he's going to find out tonight just what he said. And he said, Barkley goes, I looked at him. I went, there's something wrong with you. You're just not a normal human. And he said he destroyed that kid like it was game 7.
That goes into Joe's point, though.
Yeah, see, look at you. That's the happiest story I've ever seen you tell, because you've got that. You're just stuck in that Michael Stockholm syndrome, and I get it.
I played golf with him and watched him destroy a kid.
But that's Joe saying game 7, last shot. There's no doubt. Clear the floor.
No
it's
doubt.
Michael Jordan, but he's not
But
making.
If I have to day one build an organization and I need the first guy, I'm taking LeBron to build the organization.
Like that story about the dream team is like, was it best for the team for him to guard the point?
No, it was best for Michael.
They won by 70.
Well, they were going to win by 70. That's not the point.
So you're telling me if there's an all-time draft and you have the number 1 pick, you're taking LeBron?
Taking LeBron James.
You're insane.
1.
And I will beat you every time.
That's so how about those post-trade deadline Bulls?
All right, let me do this. Let me run you down keeper for next year, because some of these guys, I mean, they have the money to keep any one of these guys. They could resign. So I'm going to do a keeper or don't want to see him anymore.
Are we doing like rapid fire style? What are we doing?
Yeah, you should give me an answer. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's start off with Nick Richards. I think he's got another year on his deal.
Yeah, gone.
Shot blocker. Gone. You don't care about Nick Richards. Okay. Let's go Anthony Simons.
Probably letting him go because I think he's Zach LaVine too.
Yeah, at least I hesitate to say gone, but I see why. Yes, gone.
Okay. Colin Sexton.
Key.
Got a little attitude to him.
Okay.
Key.
I watched him
I love that
2 nights ago. He's diving on the floor and comes up with the loose ball after a miss. Do you remember that play?
Yeah.
He's on the floor scrapping to get the ball. And I went, I need more of that. I want that kid.
He's walking down the court looking at the fans like.
And then he flipped off the rim when he missed a shot.
Flipped off the rim. That's the first time I've seen a guy flip off an inanimate object during a game.
Correct. I want to keep them.
Keep.
All right, so keep on Colin Sexton. Jaden Ivey.
I probably keep because I don't think he's back to 100% health. And I think when he is, I might have found something.
I like to keep on this. I think
He's got a Purdue tattoo on his back.
I didn't mention the damn Purdue. I didn't mention anything about Purdue.
But you know where he went.
I do.
Did you have a Purdue tattoo on your back?
I don't have a Purdue tattoo anywhere on me.
He loves Purdue.
He has a real problem.
Let's all go work out together and take off our shirts.
He's got a real problem that Indiana's been so front and center of the news because they're stealing all of his favorite teams. But I do like Jaden Ivey. And I like Jaden Ivey at the price he's going to be at because I think you're competing against nobody. And I think that there's a chip on his shoulder. I like the edge. And I think I think him and Giddey and Modest together are intriguing. I do. And defensively, the guy gets 2.5 steals a game. For at least he has when he's been with the Bulls. I like him.
I think you have to invest in Jaden Ivey because he has not recovered from that injury.
Agreed.
And hopefully he does. But I think he's still going through a lot of mental because he was so explosive, and that's explosiveness is not there right now.
He's 23.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Danger Rob Dillingham.
Bye. See you, Rob.
You're keeping him. They're keeping him no matter what.
We're keeping him because he's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to see. I want to see.
I'm keeping because I can. How about that? I'm keeping.
He's got a little. I will say this. I mean, hopefully you guys get. He's got a little attitude to him that I kind of like.
Okay.
He's got a little swag to him. He's got some wiggle to his game, which they don't really have a wiggle guy.
Rob Dillingham just turned 21.
Yeah, okay, I'm keeping.
He's a kid.
21. I could be. Yeah. I'd be okay with it.
Gasson, the Frenchman, Leair, the dancing bear.
I like the name.
Whatever.
He's no longer a dancing bear. He's put a lot of weight on. I wrote
gone.
Today. He's just LeBaron now. Probably gone. And I think he waived that next year player option. And rumor is because he already has a deal overseas that's going to be more than the NBA can pay him. So he might be gone on his own accord.
Good.
Josh Giddey, you guys sold in on Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I'm keeping him.
To trade him, keeping him. Okay.
I'm keeping him for at least one more year. And he's not been healthy. So what kind of value are you getting?
He's a lot healthier than.
That's true. Well, okay. I'm keeping it for another year.
Watched him and Trey Jones scrimmage today. They look pretty damn healthy.
But neither one's playing tonight.
No, this is a
competitive. What was it? Competitive integrity.
That's gone. Trey Jones.
Keep.
Trey Jones.
Trade next year's deadline.
Yeah, he's okay. He's fine.
I need Billy. If you're keeping Billy, you need something to keep Billy.
Yeah, that's Billy's favorite player. Modest, Buzzellis.
I'm keeping. Cap.
Yes,
Modest.
I'm keeping Modest.
Good quote from Modest today. I'm doing a preview on All-Star Weekend. He said, I said, this is the last day. This is the last year you can play on a Friday night. And he said, if it was up to me, I'd be playing on Sunday. I like that attitude he has. So he is not happy about playing the Friday night game. He'd rather be playing on Sunday. So you got to get better, kid.
I need to see more though. Like I want to keep.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I talked to him about.
Why is he such a weak rebounder?
He's gotten better at rebounding. The last month, I think he's more aggressive, but he should be better. There's no reason he is not a 29 guy every night.
Agreed.
There's no reason.
Agreed.
So, I think they got to get him back to the three. Unfortunately, the trades they made didn't really allow that. He's a natural three. So, and he did have some comments because I said, what if some of these dudes from this year's class, whether it's Cooper or Con Knipple, in an all-star game in a moment, they might want to one-on-one go after you. He goes, I hope they do. I'd love to go one-on-one with any of those cats from this year's draft class. So there's a lot of things I like about Modest. There's a fearlessness to him. Definitely a keeper. I mean, to me, that's the only keeper. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else even worth bringing up. Oh, Patrick Williams.
Get him on a one-way ticket out of here so fast. The fact that he has a player option, that is fireable right now.
You have one choice. This to me, it's an easy answer, but you get one box and one person to pick. It's AK or Patrick Williams. Who you pick?
AK is gone.
Okay.
You'd keep Patrick Williams over AK.
I would.
That's interesting.
I would.
Love it.
I would.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Is anybody else even worth Jalen Smith?
I probably would keep him. He's a solid player.
Gone.
Cheap player. You got one more. Wow.
He's a solid player for very little
I'm
money.
ruthless, man. I'm ruthless. I'm sick of seeing the same names in jerseys.
Zach Collins.
Gone.
He's hurt too much.
Yeah.
When he plays, I think he's affected. He's just hurt too much.
Gone.
Anytime you hear when he plays, ...
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So there's not a lot you guys are keeping, basically.
Well, the biggest reason for me is just because I'm looking at what the next 2 to 3 years look like.
This is the Bulls right here, this orange. And as I peel it, it's a rotten orange inside. That's what it is.
Do you know it's rotten inside already?
I don't.
Wait, are you
But
sure?
I'm saying that's what the Bulls are.
That's one of those.
Sumos.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah,
But when I pull the skin off, that's what they did last week. There's nothing inside.
So, and I'll let you guys get out of here. This is my final takeaway from all of this, and the reason why, fans are like, "Well, Cowley, you said blow it up, blow it up. Why aren't you happy?" I did say blow it up. I want it blown up. I wanted it blown up way earlier than this, but that's in the land of if, which I don't like to live. But I will say this: you still do not have a path or an idea besides the idea of luck in the draft lottery of how to get an elite player. And one of the Bulls players who was traded did say this the day before he was traded, and he didn't know he was going to be traded. He was just BSing with me. He did say, because we were talking about the trade deadline, he goes, I don't know what's going to happen. He goes, but the bottom line is it really doesn't matter, because if you don't have a top 15 player in this league, you're all fighting for the same shitty spot. And so
there you go.
These are NBA players that know that and are competitive and are out there every night busting their ass. They even know if I don't have a top 15 guy, I know I don't have a guy that's going to be able to freaking bring us to anything significant. So
there you go.
That's it.
There you go. I got something for you.
No, are you taking your shirt off?
No, I'm taking my shirt off. And again, these aren't things I plan on keeping. These are things I plan on taking advantage of dumb Chicago people with. Look at this.
Dumb Chicago.
Oh, who's that?
Caleb? Is that a Caleb?
That is a Caleb Williams card.
That's a Caleb rookie.
Oh,
look at this one. Look at this, Chicago.
Carry him with you.
Hit me up.
Shit,
I bought him here. I bought him here. You could buy him cheap in Boston because Boston doesn't care about Caleb.
You're investing in Chicago Bears players. I'll be honest with you. I never thought.
These are flips because I know Bears fans will slurp it up.
Oh, this is like Mike Conley Jr. coming through Chicago.
Yes. What
I think you should do is get little DraftKings app out and bet Caleb Williams MVP.
It's the popular thing to do. Don't do it.
You know what we should do? I know you guys aren't in the card game.
I'm. It's funny. I want to get back in the card game.
We should start doing live breaks on the Cap channel.
Dude, I'm in. I would love to do live breaks. I was a huge card guy my entire life until like college, and I'm like every time I walk by now, I'm just like,
it is the
cards.
Yes. Huge.
Oh my God! It is the funnest form of gambling out there right now, besides a fantasy team, because that's all it is. Like today, the 75-year anniversary of the Topps cards dropped.
Yeah,
they put a 52 Mickey Mantle in there, so someone's gonna hit that.
Legit 52 Mantle.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, I need to get back in.
I have a Jordan rookie, the Leair.
Did you have
the Leair one?
I did. It's worth about $7,000. The guy told me.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you kiss it?
I do. I still sleep under the
I'm telling you, that's what we should do. That should be the next iteration of this thing.
Do you know Guff was there? I don't know if he'll remember this. His memory's
tell me what
great.
packs. We'll do it.
I get an envelope, like a little package at NBC Sports Chicago. You remember this? Mm-hmm. And a guy writes me a letter. He said, I'm 87 years old. My kids don't like sports. My wife doesn't like it. So I'm sending you these cards. I want you to have them, because they would mean a lot more to you. And I open up this little box he sent him in. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, yes, Rogers Hornsby, Lou Boudreau. There's like 8 cards. And I'm
like original cards, not remakes.
So I call the guy from Heritage Auctions, Chris Ivy.
I remember looking at them going.
I call the guy, Chris Ivy from Dallas, who does the multi-million-dollar auctions. And
Yeah.
He goes, FaceTime me. I'm sitting at my desk at NBC.
I was there because I was like, dude.
And I show him the cards. He's like, oh, my God. Dude, those are legit. Do not bend anything. Don't let them out of your sight. Tomorrow morning, you need to go to my Chicago office. I'm going to call my authenticator. He'll meet you. You've got millions of dollars in cards that guy sent you. How did he send them? I go, in an envelope. He's like, well, he's out of his mind. Millions, he said. He goes, your Babe Ruth card, that's probably $1.5 million right there. I'm like, Guff.
Dude, he freaked me out. I'm like,
I'm like, Guff, you got to hear this. I tell him, and the next thing I know, I go to Heritage Auctions Chicago the next day. I walk in, the guy's like, I'm sweating. I'm so nervous to look at these cards. He's got rubber gloves on. He opens it up. He goes, these are replicas. Have a good day. All night. I'm like, maybe I don't want to get too excited, but we might have just hit the jackpot.
See what's, and by the way, stuff like that only happens to you. That's a Cap story.
Literally.
Total Cap story.
It was unbelievable. Remember that?
Yep.
Oh, nothing. Anyway.
I had a joke. Remember the pitcher, Joe Cowley? He was a shitter.
Yes.
I have people send me
the wooden border.
I have people send me that and go, could you sign this Joe Cowley? I'm like, yeah, that's not me.
That's amazing.
The best.
Guy look like a beer league softball player.
Great to be with you.
All right, boys. Awesome. Good talk. Way to catch up on everything.
We're gonna do the breaks, dude. We'll talk more about that.
Let's talk. We will definitely.
All right, sweet.
All right, let's go with the rant. Here in Boston, obviously the big story in Boston, Anthony Simons, his return to Boston, and something he said, and I don't know if he meant it as a shot at the Bulls, but it was telling. The Boston writers and news and TV cameras, TV people are asking him, what are you going to miss most about Boston? What did you learn your time in Boston? Blah, blah, blah. The usual TV questions. And the one thing he said is, I will say this, the first day I walked in the building, I felt championship is the single-mindedness of this entire organization and everything in the building. He didn't say that about the Bulls. Not one time in his opening press conference did he say, I walk in, I feel the aura coming off that statue that all the tourists are taking pictures of, and I feel like, oh, single-mindedness is a championship. That tells me a lot. When that's what the NBA opinion is of your team, not that we needed a reminder of that, but it tells you a lot that guys walk in that building in a place like Boston and they feel it. They walk in a place in Chicago and they know it's probably just a temporary holding place. So that's the rant. Let's go to the list. These are the 3 teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs, aren't going to be major threats, but I think come out of the trade deadline in the best position possible, and what I wish the Bulls would have come out of the trade deadline like. Number 3 is a tie. It's between Dallas and Washington. And the reason I say that, Dallas now knows they are building around Cooper Flagg, who early in this podcast season 1, I was already saying he will be the face of the NBA within 4 to 5 years. I still stand by that. He will be the face of the NBA maybe in 3 years. I'm going to even move it up. That's how good this kid is. And then Washington, I love what they did. Trae Young. You go get Trae Young and you say, hey, Trae, let's shut you down. Let's ease into this. We still have SAR. We still want picks. Then they go and they get AD, and you're like, what? AD, take your time. I know you want to play again this year. Let's fix your hand. Let's not worry about it. Love what they did. Ease into it. Get one more sip of this thing, and then next year you unleash your young guys. You hope that Trae Young and AD could coexist. Masterful. Number 2, Utah. Was it a crime what they did the other night? Not a technical crime. Is it a crime of integrity to say, hey, Lowry Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, go get me 60 by the third, and you're going to sit the entire fourth quarter so we can lose this game. Hey, those are the rules. Those are the crayons. That's the coloring book you gave them, and they're staying within those lines. I applaud you. Dip in there one more time. See what Ace Bailey becomes, your rookie. See if you can get lucky and hit one of those top 3 guys. Then you got something special. You unleash it all next year. Number 1, Indiana. For Indiana to go and do what they did, the Clippers trade's one thing. But for them to even be active in the trade deadline and setting the table for next year, knowing that Siakam, Nebhart, a healthy Halliburton. Now you got your big with the Clippers trade. You got rid of your restricted free agent guy that could be a headache money-wise, and Matherman, you don't have to worry about him. Masterclass of what Indiana's doing. So those are the top teams that come out that aren't playoff teams that come out of the trade deadline where you're like, I applaud you because you understand the game. You understand what Adam Silver has put in place, and you are taking full advantage of it. So that's it. We got All-Star break coming up. Hopefully work out, keep your shirt on, be a bro. And until next week, I got next.